I don't usually do home bay, but it's a pleasure to do this one. So my student went out, this is a driving test. So just to confirm, that's the test centre on the left. This was a driving test. My student did pass, and we'll talk about the faults as we go along. But to confirm that the audio is not recording in the car and there's no inside footage, that is as per the DVSA guidelines. So as you can see, my student's coming out. They've done a reverse park bay at the beginning of the test. That's the easiest thing to do. So when you go into your test, the first thing, you can just drive straight on, check your blind spots, and off you go. So my student was following sat-nav for the first 20-25 minutes-ish. I'll tell you roughly where my student was explaining to me where the sat-nav in the independent part of the driving ended, and they went on to following road signs. So they've turned left in this roundabout, and then looking at this next roundabout, they're going to be turning right. So using the right-hand lane, you can see the road markings there on the floor. So use right-hand lane to go straight ahead, second exit, or turn right, third exit. So my student's turning right, third exit. Just waiting for that blue car to our right-hand side to come out of that junction, and then it's clear after that. So what the student does is just wait for this lorry because the circumstances changed. Remember, this is a 2-lane roundabout. So when you're coming around this roundabout, make sure you leave enough room to the side of you for another vehicle. Okay. And then when you're exiting, remember that left blind spot, because remember that vehicle could be to your left. So checking that left mirror now, so that signal on, and then moving across, checking once more before you come across. So going through, we're going to Biltinge down towards Herne Bay. So we're coming up to a narrow bridge up ahead. So recommendation for this bridge here. So there's a bit of a bend. There is no pavements here because the pavements end, so you expect pedestrians in the road. There is a sign just there at the top left-hand side. You can see it there, warning pedestrians are in the road. There it is, just in the trees. So, and that's just sharp bends. You've got the little chevron there marking the road to bend around. So looking up the road, there could be a double-decker bus or a lorry coming through here. So just being aware, throwing your eyes over the other side of the bridge, holding back if necessary. So my student does turn right here. So checking his right mirror, popping his right signal on, positioning himself closer to the lines, checking, making sure no one's overtaken, and then rolling straight into the junction. I believe the examiner told my student, pull up somewhere safe on the left-hand side of the road, somewhere down here. Yeah, got the road with the bin people up in front. So, and there is a junction to our right-hand side. Checking your right mirror, make sure no one's overtaking you, making sure it's clear to overtake, watching the people in the road, and then bring yourself back over to the left-hand side when it's safe. So checking that left mirror before you move the car across back to the normal driving position. So we're pulling up on the left-hand side of the road. So we're making sure we don't block a dropped curb. So making sure that the place where we stop is safe, legal and convenient, as we teach on normal driving lessons and in normal general life, not just driving test standard. This is normal driving, guys. Yeah, so if you've got your test in Herne Bay, this is a nice little view of what could happen. This is not guaranteed test routes. There are many test routes, and the examiner can take you 15 minutes away from the test centre, maybe 20 minutes, and then come back again. All right, so half an hour there, half an hour test, 15 minutes out, 15 minutes back, so various routes, country lanes, town centre driving, maybe dual carriageway. Okay, so I believe the sat-nav does take us left into one of these roads here. So just checking your mirror before you move out. Nice little area. This was a 7:50 test in the morning, very early start for us. We travelled from Isle of Sheppey in Kent. Here we go, we're turning left, checking left mirror, and then bringing ourselves round. Vehicle stopped in front of us, so what we're going to do is we're going to check our centre and right mirror, move ourselves out. No signal necessary, because that's what we normally do. There's cars parked on the left. You can tell they're parked because they're positioned, and some of their door mirrors are actually folded in. That's an indication that the cars are parked and we can move around them. Obviously, the doors could open, someone could step out, so don't forget, this is what we talk about, making sure you leave sufficient space between you and the parked car. Doors distance. Minimum, remember the capital letters minimum, distance is 1 metre away. So we're turning right into this road here. This is the road that they do the emergency stop on. So the examiner would again just turn and said, if you can just pull up on the left-hand side of the road. This is quite a busy road, to be honest, for the time of day and what we're actually going to do down this road. So again, safe, legal, convenient. This is the second pull up on the left-hand side of the road. This is where the examiner is going to start talking about. Shortly, I'm going to ask you to do the controlled stop or the emergency stop. All I want you to do is just drive ahead as normal. I will look over my shoulder. don't react to that. Only react to me saying the word stop, and they put the hand up in the air just to show you what they'll do. Then they'll ask, have you got any questions? Drive on, please, when you're ready. So looking further up the road, seeing what's happening, obviously moving away with that mirror in that blind spot. Here we go. So you've got that white car that's coming towards us. So my student's done really well. So holding back here. The examiner's not after you getting to maximum speed limit straight away. So still building speed up gradually. So we're looking for doing emergency stop. Now looking ahead, there's another car there and pedestrians in the road. So my student's done correctly and slowed themselves down. Once clear, checked his mirrors, speeding the car up and bringing the car back to normal position, waiting for the emergency stop. There it is. Handbrake, neutral. Relax. I won't ask you to do that again. Drive on for me, please, when you're ready. They're similar words to what the examiner would use. So both blind spots here, checking behind you, all around you. Imagine there's little Johnny that's just cycled out or run out into the middle of the road. You've done an emergency stop because they've come out. You haven't hit them, but the parent in the house or in the gardens heard the car come to a complete stop. The kid's perfectly fine. The kid's on the pavement. You're now looking for the mum that's going to be running out, making sure that their little child's all right. All right. So that's what you're checking for. You're checking around, making sure there's no one around you. Make sure there's no cyclists coming down the left-hand side of the car before you pull away. No vehicles that are overtaking you. Don't forget they're kind of a brother or sister. It might not just be a child. It might be a dog. So don't know what that emergency is. React to it. We're trying to put that scenario into play. Now on a driving test, the emergency stop or the controlled stop is only conducted 1 in every 3 at the moment. Some test centres are reducing that. It's on trial at the moment, but in Herne Bay and Gillingham that I know of, it's 1 in every 3 and it's approximately. All right. So you're not always guaranteed, so make sure you practice. And if you do an emergency stop, you might have to do one actually on your driving test without having been told, because a child or a dog might run out. So always be alert, vigilant, especially when you've got car keys and you've got that seatbelt and engine running, you are in control of that vehicle. Okay, so we're going down to the seafront. Absolutely beautiful view. If only it was a nice sunny day. So here we go. This is, I have done a test down here before and one of my students did fail because they misinterpreted a set of traffic lights. And I'll point out exactly what happened. So at these traffic lights, we are going to be turning right. So we're choosing the right-hand lane with a right signal. The traffic lights are green now. This is where my student failed. They went around this corner, this one passed, but my previous student failed. So we've just gone through a set of green lights, correct? See the dotted lines there and the red light to our right? I had a student on their test stop. Don't forget that red light that we just saw there on that crossing was a repeater light for the traffic that's actually stood behind us. We were green to go. That red light is for the other people. All right, so to make sure you understand the traffic lights and their positioning. Here we go, we're going down to the seafront, 20 miles an hour. Being cautious of speed because it's easy to creep over 20 miles an hour. In my car, it's easy to hold that speed at a lower gear. So in my car, in this Hyundai i30, it's easier to hold the car at 20 miles an hour in second gear. Some cars, you might be able to get into third and hold it back nicely. But yeah, the second gear is handy. If you go into third gear in my car, the engine starts pulling you along a little bit harder. So just be cautious of your speed down here. You don't want to be going too fast down here anyway. Cars could open, dogs could walk out, fish could jump out of the sea. You never know what's going to happen. Fish jumping out of the sea? What am I on? Anyway, keep going. Down here, looking what's happening. We will be turning left, I believe. I haven't seen all of this video. So this is a surprise to me and I can't see the sat-nav. It's just off the screen, a little bit lower off on the dashboard. I don't want to record their sat-nav anyway because it's their sat-nav, not mine. But we can just watch what's happening. So you've got the pedestrian crossings to the left and right. So you might, in Herne Bay, you've got the fish and chip shops to the left. You've got tables to our right-hand side. A lot of areas where you come down here. This is where I come down on a motorbike and sit and like get some chips and like admire the views and other people's bikes. There's lots of motorbikes in the summer down here. Yeah, so fish and chip shops to our left, tables and chairs to our right-hand side. So you've got a lot of people that are getting fish and chips, running back to get some sauce or get some vinegar or something. So just be careful of people just jumping out of nowhere. Double yellow lines, so there shouldn't be any vehicles staying on the left. I know we just gone past one. So we've got a table, speed table here. So just watching the junctions, keeping an eye on our speed. Really nice down here, especially in the summer. If you haven't been to Herne Bay, highly recommend it. Absolutely beautiful place to go and take the kids. Go and get some fish and chips, admire the views. Lots of amusements down a little bit further down, up ahead of us, further down the road. Really nice high street as well. And obviously they've got a really nice test centre. Here we go, we're turning left. Yeah, we're turning left up here. We're going up into the high street. Notice this is a one-way system. The road markings are faded because it used to be a two-way road, so they have burnt the roads off. But looking at the signs, looking at the positions and the direction the cars are pointing ahead of you. So we're turning right at the end of the road, so we're still in the 20. So we're positioning ourselves to the right-hand side of the exit of this road, which is correct, because it's a one-way road. Still in the 20 mile an hour. Here we go. The high street is actually behind us. This is the end of the high street. Still in that 20, the little reminders all over the place. So the examiner will say to you, don't look at the speed limit that is on the sat nav. Remember, the sat navs could be out of date. So basically the speedometer, the speed limit that's on their sat nav has got a memory of what the roads used to be. Now they've changed it. We need to look at the sides outside the vehicle and make sure we're reacting to the signs that we can actually see. All right. So looking a little bit further up, we are going to be turning right. So looking at the road markings, we need to move into a right filter lane, like a little turning lane, like your own little separate lane to turn right. Just keeping an eye exactly what's happening, keeping that distance away from these cars. Usually on these mock tests, or these, not mock tests, these actual driving test videos, I tend to fast forward. But as I haven't done a Herne Bay test in a while, I thought I'd keep it at normal speed so people can have a little look what's happening. So there you go, there's a little merging lane, little filter lane, little passing lane, your own separate lane. There's our little arrow. I'm not going to cut the corner, turning right. There we go. And just ahead of us, we can see some temporary traffic lights. The yellow lorry. Now this is if you're turning left, which is what we're going to do, without these traffic lights, it's very sharp anyway. A few of my students in the past have gone around this corner and they've miscalculated the turn slightly and they've clipped the curb on the left on the corner with a back left-hand wheel. My students really well, it's even narrower now. So look at the front wheel of this lorry and in relation to the white lines separating the two lanes. So he's taking it nice and slow. There we go. Nice and controlled. And the road ahead of you narrows as well. And to look at the new speed signs, we're coming out of the 20 into the 30. So although you're just trying to react to all of that, don't forget to look up on the poles. They tell you what the new speed is and what the next hazard is. All right. So as I said, my student did get 3 driver faults. So far, so good. We're about to pick up our first driver fault. And that is on the parallel park. What happened? He got a control fault. That's all it was, a little control fault because he needed to readjust a little bit because he was a bit too far away from the curb. So it's good to fix it. If you're not happy, fix it. Okay. Observations are on point. So that would be the first driver fault, and we're going to see that happen shortly. So the examiner would have said a little bit further up the road, I'm not sure which car it was. I know he said it's well by the seafront, and he explained to me just after temporary traffic lights. There was a parallel park. I think he said blue car. Probably wrong, unless I'm colourblind. Or like Nemo, like Dory out of Nemo. I can't remember things. So just looking up the road, keep throwing your eyes up. There are crossings, so loads of roads to the left. There's roads to the car spot to the right. There's a little road down there on the right hand side. Nice little hill, people coming out of. Keeping an eye on the double yellow lines, keeping an eye on the driveways to the left. Watching the wheels of vehicles, because they could indicate that the car's moving by the position. Here we go. So this is the car we're going to be doing the parallel park against. So he's asked them to pull up on the left-hand side of the road. Probably talking to him and said, okay, so see that vehicle in front? What I'd like to do is I'd like to pull up next to it and then reverse up and keep yourself parallel to the curb. If there is a dropped curb, the examiner would have said, do not worry on this occasion if you're blocking a dropped curb, or he may have said, treat the dropped curb as a raised curb. All right, so they're not trying to catch you out. So mirrors and signal, blind spot before we pull away. Here we go. So we're using this here. Yeah, you would have said, don't worry about the dropped curb. So we're pulling alongside it, slightly off screen. Put the car into reverse gear, put a signal on if there's vehicles around, checking all around the blind spots, moving back slowly, keeping it nice. I've done this video quite a few times. I've got a drone video and things like that. I've done the correct thing because that red car, because we're about to swing the vehicle out into the road. Look at the top video. This is why we need to check our right blind spot now, because look how much that road we're taking in the right lane. So it's critical you check your right blind spot at that point. Bring yourself back nice and slowly. Keeping it nice and slow, very slow clutch control. And once you're in a position, bring the handbrake neutral. If you need to readjust, readjust. So it's a little bit far away from the curb. I'm not sure if he readjusted or the examiner said at the end. I didn't manage to get this into the debrief because there was another car that was reversing in the car park, so I didn't want to interfere with their test. Here we go. So yeah, he is reversing a little bit more just to fix it, just to bring himself in. So if you're not happy, fix it. Okay. Drive on for me, please, when you're ready. Mirrors, blind spots, signals, all the normal POM routine. Prepare, observe, move. With a signal if necessary. So, not sure how long it takes to stay here. What's happening? So that was one driver fault because he had to recorrect. Okay, he might have been having a little chat. Sometimes the examiners say, how would you be doing? What would you be doing if you weren't here today? Or my student may have been having a little sip of water. You do get a dry throat, especially when you're doing a driving test. So take a bottle of water with you on your driving test. And off we go. So we know we've done a reverse park now. So we put the car into reverse gear once during the driving test. So we know, guaranteed, when we get back to the test centre, the examiner will say to you, almost word for word, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to forward park into any parking space on the left or on the right. Do not worry if you do not get it within the marked bay. You have completed your reverse park exercise. All right, so my student did actually come back in and he straddled some of the lanes. He didn't want to put it into a disabled bay, but the examiner said, don't worry about it. So he's straddling a little bit of both, but it does not matter because he's shown control during his reverse park. Here we go. We're going up to do a hill start. Taking the next road on the left. As we come up, look at the angle, look in the top video, look at the angle of the next road of how it goes up. And once it goes up a little bit steeper. The gradient goes up a little bit more. So make sure you're working on your hill starts. So where is it? Here we go. See that white wall that goes up the hill. Doesn't look much on the camera, but trust me, once you've got the car and two people and a full tank of petrol in the back, get used to it. Just get more petrol on the go. Okay. So pull up on the left-hand side. There we go. Handbrake on. Put the car neutral. Relax. Take a deep breath. Drive on for me, please, when you're ready. Don't overthink it. It's just to move away with a little bit more petrol. That's all it is. Slow feet. Lots of gas. Lots of blind spots. And off we go. Okay, so drive on for me, please, when you are ready. There we go. Nice. If you stall it, reset yourself. Bring the car to a gentle stop. And then put the handbrake on. Reset yourself and go again. That's what you need to do. Okay, so we're turning right here. Watch what's happening. There's that vehicle that's blocking our entrance, obviously a workman or something. So making sure that going at risk now onto the oncoming traffic, you've got a good view of the road, assessed it nicely, held that biting point and done that. So just to confirm, we've done 2 pull up on the lefts, 1 parallel park, 1 emergency stop, 1 hill start. We've got 1 more thing to do. And guess what it is? It's pull up behind a parked car. Notice these white lines here, saying we come up to some sort of hazard, and a give way mark. Yes, we've got to do 1 more, which is a pull up on the left-hand side of the road behind a parked vehicle so that the examiner can see that you, here we go, this is happening, so that we can pull away at an angle. So we're not just moving away from the side of the road, we're moving away and going around a parked vehicle like it's just broken down or something. So we've got to make sure that we're doing normal observations and we're looking further up the road. That Mercedes in front of us. So we're looking further up that road, making sure there's no cars coming down. Because the officer is, if there was, you would have affected them. So that's what they're checking for. Nice. So well done to my student that's done this. Absolutely amazing. Um, yeah, absolutely beautiful place, Herne Bay. Nice to get over here. Don't get over here often. Um, Gillingham's my local test centre that I usually use because it's on our doorstep. This was just a quick fire test that someone needed, and they've done a lot of practice with me over in Herne Bay, and the practice paid off. So stay regular with your driving lessons, and you will get the result that you deserve. Okay. If you've done your driving test in Herne Bay or Gillingham or any test centre, drop it in the comments. Let us know how you got on. I believe we're turning left at the end of this road. You can tell by our positioning. There we go, he's brought it around to the left slightly. And he's got a good view of the road. Nice and quiet, nice and slow. Okay, so think about this now. We've done all of the maneuvers. This is a simple drive back now. We've done town centres. We haven't necessarily done country lanes because this test centre or this test route doesn't allow it, but there's simulations of different things, of different controls of speed and things. Temporary traffic lights, what's happening? Road ahead closed, I can see that in distance. So we're taking our signs from this sign here on the left. The traffic lights are thrown up ahead, but the red sign there, when red light shows wait here, that symbolises your white line. So there you go. Green traffic lights called us forward. Make sure it's safe, make sure there's no other cars or vehicles that are in this zone here, because there might be someone parallel parking in that gap that's just gone past. A lorry might be turning around outside this industrial estate or something. So just making sure that your exit's clear and you can go through that traffic lights. If not, hold back. Okay. So I believe after the parallel park, I think that's where he said the independent driving ended, and the examiner just took them on from now on, telling them where to go, following road signs, follow their normal direction, all the way back. Yes, they've picked up 2 driver faults. 2 driver faults? Yes, we're about to pick up the second driver fault. Okay, so we've done one for the parallel park. The second one was a little bit further up the road. After these traffic lights, we're turning right, and we're going over a little bridge. So there's traffic light there on the left. So again, we've got our position where we need to think about where we need to be coming up to these traffic lights because we're turning right. We've got the right signal on now. Looking at the bottom picture there, underneath that silver car, this lane that we're in does go straight ahead and right. So we've got a right signal on now to let everyone know we're going right. That could help a pedestrian. I believe someone did a survey, and a 5-year-old child will recognise an indicator of a car going through. Just the student, the 5-year-old child going through a car park will recognise a indicator, and they'll hold back and they'll be aware of that at such a young age. So like those cars behind, signalling and their position. And looking up ahead, we've got a right thing. So there we go, there's the right lane. And we're going to be turning left on this roundabout, and it'll be the first exit. So just over this humpback bridge, you can see the sign there on the left. Going over, and we've got this warning you that you've got a roundabout. It's telling us our directions early enough. And it tells us our new speed as we come out off this road. There we go, 40 miles an hour. We are turning left, first exit. So there we go, just waiting for these cars to clear to our right. Then we can emerge onto the roundabout, building our speed up. So this is the second fault. So the examiner said, I believe he said, can you turn on your headlights onto dipped beam for me, please? So he's already done that. So that's his show me question. But down this road, it started to rain. My student hadn't driven in the rain, had a bit of a mind fog. I went, how do I turn the windscreen wiper on? So I believe he said he cleaned the back window or the front window or something. All he wanted to do was to turn the windscreen wipers on. So what he did was he got a fault for awareness and planning because he turned his windscreen wipers on. He looked down, and by the time he looked back up again, he'd reduced his speed. And he said he was in a 40-mile-an-hour road, and he dropped down to like 34 miles an hour for a couple of seconds while he was trying to plan how to turn on the windscreen wipers. And he actually leaves the back one on, and you'll see that dancing away in the bottom screen shortly. but it's not a fail because you've not affected any other road user. Don't forget, there you go. So the rain's just hitting the screen now on the top screen. He's thinking, oh, God, hang on. Oh, no, hang on, the back one. He actually leaves the back one on, which is quite funny. It's waving to the cars behind. So it doesn't matter. All it was in my car, we just need to twist the end of my right hand stick on the steering wheel and it's not up behind the steering wheel to say that turn the back windscreen wiper off. But he's got it all working. So that was his second fault. His third fault is a little bit further up the road when there's a vehicle and he stumbled in one of the gears. But it's not a problem. But again, he didn't affect anyone. So following the road up ahead, and we're going to come to a roundabout. I believe we go left at the roundabout. So just keeping an eye on exactly what's happening, watching the car in front, looking at their brake lights. If they're braking, then there's some sort of hazard ahead. Yes, the back windscreen wipers going. It makes me laugh. So, question though, has he recognised the back windscreen wipers going? Is he checking his back window? He might be checking when the wiper blade's not working. So he might be checking now, and now he's not checking. And he checks it again, and he hasn't seen it move. There's a lot of road noise in the car, so you don't always recognise it. Okay, so what you think is a fail may not be a fail in the examiner's eyes. Okay, he did think, oh, have I or haven't I? But he's said really nice examiner. The way the examiner was talking to him, the way the examiner conducted themselves, absolutely perfect. He said, I knew exactly what I was doing, not just from my knowledge of the road and driving. He said the examiner explained everything to the point, exactly what he wanted me to do. So everything was clear and concise, which is good. So don't get nervous about your driving test. So it says slow on the road. Looking further up the road, we've got a new speed limit coming up. We've got some bends in the road. What other signs have we got? Got more paint on the road. Got a bus stops here. No one's in the bus stop, so it could be a bus in front of us. Bend in the road, more paint there on the road. Looking up ahead. What's the speed limit on this road, guys? Has anyone recognised it? Usually in a housing estate with streetlights, it's 30. However, keep an eye on the signs. High vehicles would be in the middle of the road. So if there's a double-decker bus, expect it to be in the middle of the road. Then you'd hold back and let that lorry or bus come through. Look at their positioning. We've got bend in the road. It does say slow on the road. It doesn't mean slow down. It means be aware. They're not asking you to go slower and slower and slower and slower. It just means you're coming up to a bend. You're coming up to some sort of hazard. Oh, hang on a second. There's a new speed limit, 20 miles an hour. So we're back into a 20 now. There's a lot of 20 miles an hour in Herne Bay and in Wales, I believe, as well. So we're just last final push now. We know we're just going to drive him straight back to the test centre under the directions of the examiner. Get used to doing mock tests. If you've got a driving instructor, ask your driving instructor to do mock tests regularly. Then you can work on any faults that are picked up, recognise them faults, understand the faults, understand the consequences of the faults. I look at driver faults as a conversation starter. So we've done 2 already on this test. We're going to get to the 3rd shortly. So it's a conversation starter. That was good for that student, for my student to hold back there because we weren't sure what that workman was doing on the left. It looked like he was going to cross, but he wasn't. He was putting a sign up. I believe we're turning right, 3rd exit here. Yeah, so driver faults, or minors as people commonly know them as, but they're driver faults. Are 30 miles an hour. They're conversation starters. So at the end of your test, turn the engine off. Congratulations, you passed your test. You have picked up 3 driver faults. I'll let you know what they are now. So it's a little, just be aware in the future of the parallel park. Tuck yourself in a little bit more. Get a little bit more practice because you had to readjust. Not a fault, not a fail, but yeah. Windscreen wipers, just make sure you know where they are. And we're about to come up to the 3rd one now. Here was a control gears fault. So looking further up the road, we've got a van. There's a car, but there's going to be a van or a lorry on the left-hand side, he said. And he was going to pass it, but then the door opened, and then the driver got out. There was an oncoming car. There was a vehicle behind him. Yeah, so it went a little bit. He said, I just needed to go into first gear. And I said, and he went, I need more petrol. He shouted, need more petrol and the gear. So here we go. Let's start. Let's start. The vehicle just come up behind us. The white vehicle still overtaking, passing the white van. So yeah, it's just like a little bit of a stumble fault there. So had you just pre-planned that a little bit earlier, it'd have been okay. And he'd have got away with 2 drive faults. But that was 3 driver faults, so 3 faults. Really good drive, really quiet. Herne Bay Test Centre, really good. Same as Gillingham, Maidstone as well. So there's 3 test centres that I do cover. Ideally Gillingham, Maidstone, because it's literally on our doorstep, half an hour away. This is 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. There's a lot of motorway driving getting there, unless we go through Sittingbourne. So yeah, we're just going back over the little bridge we just came over to begin with. So again, just looking up the road, making sure there's no vehicles, looking at shadows, looking at the flow of the traffic, pre-planning exactly what's happening. And then we've just got 2 roundabouts and back into the test centre. There's a little bit in the test centre we need to talk about as we come back in, just so you're aware. I have had someone on the way to their test do something, and I'll show you as we come in. Because it's not tricky, but it's a little bit tight on one part of the actual turn coming in. So I'll show you that in a sec. There's that narrow bridge, so it says slow. It's not asking you to slow down, but it's being aware of being prepared to slow down in case there is a fault, like a lorry or bus, because they'll probably swing wide a little bit into your lane. So it's throw your eyes up the road. Again, look at the pavements. Pavements are about to disappear. So there could be some pedestrians walking towards us. Remember your theory test? Pedestrians walk towards oncoming traffic. So they could be walking towards you. Could be a car that's broken down. Could be a cyclist that's fallen off a bike. So be aware. Right, last 2 roundabouts. Left first exit. So here we go. Is it clear? Second gear. That's what I say. So we're in the left lane. Left signal. Looking to the right. Is it clear? Let's keep going. Second gear. Let's go. 1 more roundabout. Come on, boy. We've finished. Get you that result. Get that piece of paper you've truly deserved. Done really well. Turning right. Second exit. So mirrors and signal. Looking. There's the first exit. Mirrors and signal left. Get that signal on early. Everyone knows coming out of Sainsbury's that they know you're coming off. They can go on. Okay, so this is where one of my students clipped the curb with the back left-hand wheel on the way to their driving test, and they came back and they got a pass. So turning left, back into the test centre, nice and slow. Pedestrians could be walking around. You've got cyclists, motorcyclists doing their Mod 2 tests, Mod 1 and Mod 2 tests. So there's that curve there on the left, really tight. So just watching it, you don't want to swing too wide and do a forward park on the left. He didn't want to go into disabled bay. The examiner said, just put it in the left. Don't worry, leave it like it is. Bit of an angle. Well done to my student. Follow for more, guys. Stay safe.